Trey is a grown man now. He is not a little boy anymore.
Heard you like Mr. GQ Smooth now. Fuck you looking at, nigga? We got a problem here? We got a problem, nigga?
You gonna learn.
3 witnessed a murder. Ricky had a way out. Doughboy had nothing but the streets. But behind this coming-of-age story lies a deeper truth Hollywood tried to bury. Cuba Gooding Jr. almost quit. The LAPD nearly shut down filming. And Ice Cube? He nearly wasn't cast at all. The truth behind Boys in the Hood isn't just untold. It was almost erased. Was Boys in the Hood a movie? Or a warning America still refuses to hear? Boys in the Hood wasn't just a coming-of-age film, it was autobiography. John Singleton didn't just write this script, he lived it. The neighborhoods, the gunshots, the fatherless households, none of this was fiction. He was just 22 and fresh out of USC film school. But he'd grown up with police harassment, funerals of teenage friends, and that haunting feeling that most black boys didn't make it to 21. What Singleton created wasn't just cinema, it was testimony. Fact 1. The youngest director in history to be nominated for an Oscar, John Singleton, became the first black director and youngest person ever nominated for Best Director. But what most don't know, he refused to sell the script unless he could direct it himself. He told studio executives, "If I don't direct this, you'll just make another gang movie. I'm making a movie about life." They pushed back, suggesting more experienced directors. Singleton wouldn't budge. He was 23 when they started filming, and those executives who doubted him, they watched him make history. Fact 2. Ice Cube wasn't even an actor. Ice Cube, already famous with NWA, had zero acting experience when Singleton approached him. Singleton literally saw him in a classroom at USC and said, "You're Doughboy." The studios protested. They wanted a professional actor. Singleton told them, "He's lived this. He doesn't need to act it." The rawness you feel from Cube, that's authentic street trauma, not acting techniques. It's why his performance still feels so real 3 decades later. Fact 3. Cuba Gooding Jr. almost walked. What few people know is that Cuba Gooding Jr. broke down during rehearsals of Ricky's death scene. Singleton reportedly told him, "That pain you're feeling? That's the movie." That wasn't just acting, it was grief. Grief for the lives lost in his neighborhood. Grief for friends he couldn't save. And suddenly, Hollywood's lights felt a little too bright compared to the reality they were portraying. Fact 4. LA riots foreshadowed. The film premiered in July 1991, just 9 months before the LA riots erupted. Viewers didn't realize it, but Singleton's line, "Either they don't know, don't show, or don't care," was prophetic. The tension in South Central, cops, poverty, turf wars, exploded months later in real life. What seemed like fiction to some viewers was a documentary to others. Singleton wasn't creating drama. He was documenting a pressure cooker about to blow. If this is making you look at Boys in the Hood in a whole new way, prove it. Hit like, drop your favorite character in the comments, and subscribe to Primetime Throwback. We've got more hidden stories from your favorite crime classics every week. Fact 5. Filming amidst real gang territory. The crew had to negotiate with actual Bloods and Crips to film safely in South Central. In several scenes, those background extras weren't actors. They were real gang members. Singleton insisted on this authenticity, but it came at a cost. There were days when production shut down due to drive-by threats. And if you think this story ends with the credits, just wait until you hear what got Singleton pulled into a gang negotiation just to finish shooting. Fact 6. The church that saved the cast rehearsals were held in a local South Central church, the same church that had bullet holes in its windows from a recent shooting. Singleton wanted the cast to feel what it was like growing up there, where even sanctuary wasn't safe. It worked. By week 2, the actors weren't reciting lines, they were living them. That church became more than a rehearsal space. It became a transformation chamber where privileged actors confronted realities they'd only read about. Fact 7. Lawrence Fishburne's unusual influence. Furious Styles wasn't based on Singleton's father, but his dream of what a father should have been. Fishburne, only 7 years older than Cuba Gooding Jr., transformed into the film's moral anchor. Singleton later said Fishburne's performance was so powerful, even his own mother cried on set. When Furious teaches Trey about gentrification and responsibility, he wasn't just educating a character, he was speaking to an entire generation of fatherless boys. What if Tupac had been cast instead of Ice Cube? Would Doughboy have had the same weight? Would the film have launched a different trajectory for hip-hop's most complex icon? Fact 8. Studio wanted to remove Doughboy's ending. The final text on screen, "Doughboy was murdered 2 weeks later," was heavily contested. Studio executives felt it was too depressing and would leave audiences feeling hopeless. Singleton refused to budge. He told them, "This isn't a Hollywood ending. This is how it really ends in the hood." That text wasn't just a narrative choice, it was the truth. And in that moment, Singleton chose reality over comfort, a decision that sealed the film's legacy. Fact 9. The line that sums up a generation. Either they don't know, don't show, or don't care about what's going on in the hood. That line was Singleton's direct jab at the media and America itself. What most don't realize, it wasn't in the original draft. He added it on set after watching a local newscast completely ignore a shooting that happened down the block from where they were filming. That line wasn't scripted drama. It was real-time commentary on what was happening just outside the camera's frame. Fact 10. Boys and The Hood changed Hollywood forever. After this film succeeded, black cinema exploded. Juice, South Central, Menace to Society, Poetic Justice. Studio executives finally realized there was an audience for truth, not just fiction. Singleton opened the door for filmmakers like Ryan Coogler, Ava DuVernay, and Jordan Peele. His legacy? He made pain cinematic, and he made the system listen. A 23-year-old with a camera changed American film forever. But just when you think we've covered it all, there's a final layer. 4 bonus facts that even most superfans missed. Bonus Fact 1. The NW, a diss hidden in plain sight. During the scene where Doughboy and his friends confront a local addict, pay attention to what the addict is wearing. An NWA t-shirt. Why does that matter? At the time of filming, Ice Cube had just split from NWA and was engaged in a very real and public beef with the group. The shirt wasn't a coincidence, it was Singleton's low-key nod to Cube's independence and his transition from rapper to actor. That's not just clever filmmaking, that's emotional layering most directors wouldn't dare attempt. Bonus Fact 2. The scene that almost got someone shot. The final revenge scene, where Doughboy guns down Ricky's killers, was originally scheduled to be filmed on actual blood territory in South Central. But Singleton received a warning call from a local gang spokesman saying retaliation couldn't be ruled out if they filmed a scene showing Bloods being killed on their own turf. The scene was relocated last minute, avoiding what could have been a real-life tragedy. The danger wasn't just on screen, it was behind the camera too. Bonus Fact 3. Cannes changed everything. John Singleton had never left the United States before Boys, and The Hood premiered at the prestigious Cannes Film Festival in 1991. When the film received a standing ovation from the international audience, Ice Cube turned to Singleton and said, "We bigger than The Hood now." That moment redefined everything. What began as a South Central story had become a universal tragedy with global resonance. Bonus Fact 4. The secret Tupac connection. Tupac Shakur was originally considered for the role of Doughboy before Ice Cube was cast. Singleton and Tupac had met at a poetry reading in Los Angeles in 1990, and Singleton was impressed by Tupac's raw charisma and depth. What's even more fascinating is that this near casting created a relationship that later led to Tupac's breakout role in Singleton's next film, Poetic Justice. Imagine how different both the film and Tupac's legacy might have been if that original casting had happened. This wasn't just a film, it was a wake-up call, and some people still haven't heard it. Still think Boys in the Hood was just a movie? Then you haven't heard the full story behind Tupac's audition for Juice, and the fight that almost killed his acting career before it even began. That's next on Primetime Throwback. Don't miss it. Like, comment, and subscribe now.